What is going on, my peeps? Your boy Versatile is back after hours, back with episode 12 of Versatile After Hours. Yes, this is the 12th episode of this podcast. Wow, I can't believe it's been 12 weeks since I've started the podcast. What's that, 3 months? Wow, started this in January. So thank you and welcome to those who've been here and to the new ones. If you guys didn't know who are new, this is a visual and audio podcast. You'll be able to find the audio podcast on most podcast platforms like Pocket Cast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Republic, the like. I use Pocket Cast, it's my favorite one. Anchor, of course. I actually use Anchor to start this up. So if you guys can't ever catch the visuals, definitely subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And you'll be able to hear the audio version here. Everything's still pretty much the same. If I ever throw up any images, that'll be in the visuals, of course. But another week, another Ronnie V shutdown, as I like to call it. And a few good pieces of news first. If you guys didn't catch my video already, I kind of renovated or just kind of changed up the room. So I actually may like this, shooting right here, what I've kind of tried to establish right here. But if I don't, just bear with me as I work through a couple episodes or so at most before I nail it down. But I think I like this one. As you guys can see, I've kind of gotten better with my Funko shelf here in my collection. So that's some good news. If you guys haven't checked that video, go ahead and watch it. I talk about my Funko collection and changing up the room. Now, news that have been circulating that actually started this Friday, matter of fact. Well, Artemis Fowl will be on Disney Plus. We don't know when yet, but that'll be on Disney Plus instead of hitting the theaters. Now, when I saw the trailer for it, it was a little like, meh, because it really looked like it took a leap away from what the books were. And I read the books back in the end of elementary and middle schoolish time frame. So I really liked more Artemis Fowl back then. But just from what I can remember, the fragments of memory, what Google's doing with this one, I don't know about that. So that's some interesting news. Black Widow got moved to November 6th. And that gives us cause for pause in terms of the Eternal, because I thought that was also supposed to be in November. Maybe that's in October now, or maybe that likewise got bumped a month or two. Marvel Studios did say that Ronnie V would not shake up their time frame for their scheduling for their movie, so we'll see. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. And Onward is on Disney Plus today now. I thought Dr. Dolittle was on there too, but it's the old Eddie Murphy Dr. Dolittles. So I'm still waiting on the Robert Downey Dolittles to pop up on Disney Plus. I would imagine it will very soon because it did not do that well in theaters. I don't know if it's just because it was a stark contrast from what we saw with Eddie Murphy, and it actually stuck more along with the books, and so it just threw people off. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but I definitely want to see it. Big Robert Downey fan, and I mean it looked interesting, and maybe having a skewed perspective on it, seeing it at home and relatively for free, will kind of give it more life, maybe. So that we're waiting to hit Disney Plus. Episode 7 of Star Wars, the Clone Wars season 7, or the final season, that dropped today. Watch that. Pretty interesting. It looks like we're finally getting into the Ahsoka arc that we've been waiting for in this 12 season episode. We're on episode 7, and we had a good beginning with the Bad Batch, Anakin, Rex. You know what I'm saying? We had a good little beginning, and then it kind of put us in this interesting territory with Ahsoka figuring out where she's at and how she gets to her place, with Darth Maul and Mandalore and stuff like that. And it looks like we're finally getting there with like episode 8 and beyond, because we only got 5 more episodes now, so they got to crank up that action as well. But overall, I still enjoyed the season. Just with the Ahsoka stuff, it's been, I wouldn't say slow. It's just like, it seemed like they're really trying to save the best for last, like a good third act. So that's out there. That's pretty interesting. So that's like some like bad and good news. Of course, Last of Us Part 2 got delayed, and I expected that. It's in the May time frame, and if they're talking about Ronnie V shutting everybody down, at least through April and possibly into May, and they don't know or don't think that it's hit its peak yet, then of course anything in May is probably also going to get shut down. And with people not having jobs or waiting on their unemployment or waiting on that stimulus package check, it makes it very hard for people to probably try to save and put away for the game. So, along with, not being able to hit movie theaters because they're closed as well. So Naughty Dog, Sony, it sounds like Sony's been very, very, has been doing a very good job throughout this process of working with the studios and just being very, fair, lenient, flexible with everything that's going on. Iron Man VR likewise got delayed indefinitely, so we don't know when either of those two games are coming out yet. The next start will be Ghost of Tsushima. That they came out bold, like, what was it, earlier in March or late February, right in the midst of Ronnie V starting up here in the US, and said that they're buckling down, coming out June 26th. But I think that was a bad move if they plan on changing that. Like, if they feel like they have to change that, I wouldn't have been so bold to declare a date for Ghost of Tsushima amidst this pandemic or epidemic. That was not a good idea. Now, if they're gonna stick to their guns and like, nah, forget it, everything, we still coming out June 26th, they're brave. And since a lot of other games are pushing themselves off, they may be the one summer savior to play. So that's gonna be interesting. I think I just got like a deluxe edition of that. I got a special edition of Last of Us Part 2, but that of course is going to continue to get delayed. So there's that. What else? Well, I guess we could go ahead and check here. Before we do though, today again specifically, the One UI 2.1 update for the Note 10 series and the S10 series started pushing out in the US. So that's good. It was out in Germany prior to today, and now they've started their US rollout. Expected to take a couple weeks just because of the unlock variants and the specific carrier variants of the Samsung phones. So be on the lookout. Check every day. Manually check your software update to see if it comes through. The Tab S6 as well is getting their Android 10 One UI 2.1 update, which is very good because I didn't know if Samsung was going to update with Android 10 on One UI 2.0, but it's nice to hear that they're giving us the newest, the up-to-date, fresh 2.1 for the Tab S6. That started today in Germany, and again, expect about a few weeks before a couple weeks at most before it finally touches down in the US and to the carriers. Now it's pushing out to the LTE variants in Germany. It has not covered the Wi-Fi variants yet. So once it rolls out to the Wi-Fi variants in Germany and there's success there, then I can see them rolling it out probably in the same order. LTE variants first and then the Wi-Fi variants. And I would imagine LTE, since they're getting first dibs on this, and that's the one I have right here, we'll probably see that in a week and a half at most, or at that minimum, week and a half, 2 weeks. And then we'll have One UI 2.1. And of course, I'll bring you guys a video showing you guys what they actually included on the tablet. And hopefully there's like tablet specific features that we can look forward to. Now, let's get into other news. And before I do, one thing just crossed my mind. The NBA is considering not paying the players, since there's no games being played. That's pretty interesting. Let me know you guys' thoughts down below. Should they get paid? Should they not get paid? Of course, we all kind of expect us to kind of get some type of compensation since we're being forced off due to the epidemic, and that includes the players as well, So I don't know. I'm probably neutral on it. I mean, of course, they make substantially more than us, so they could, in theory, live without a paycheck more than we could. But on the same front, it's still their means of living. So it's a catch-22 either way. Back to tech, we got the Oppo Reno Ace 2 with 65 watt wire charging, and I think it's gonna have like 50 watt, or 45 watt fast wireless charging. That's supposed to debut April 13th, so they're finally gonna reveal that, show that off. That's insane. It's a phone that's gonna have 65 watt charging. That's a lot of heat to dissipate. But of course, you really only get that boost in the first half an hour of the charge, or for the first 30%. So I don't know if it's from 0 to 30 or just your phone going from 40 to 70 and then it slows down from there, something like that. So even though it's a big boost still, you'll probably get that 30% in 10 minutes. the other 30 minutes will be it trickle charging up to full charge. That's going to be pretty interesting. And on top of that, when is graphene finally going to show its head and be mass produced and become the new battery tech? Because Samsung has been working hard on graphene, and that's supposed to have even better, tremendous battery life and battery optimization compared to the lithium ions that we use now. So that's going to be another interesting thing to be on the lookout for, the graphene. And with Oppo and what looks to be OnePlus with their 30-watt wireless charging supposedly supposed to be dropping alongside the OnePlus 8 Pro April 14th. So Oppo's jumping out the gate a day before OnePlus to share some interesting tidbits on what this new evolution in charging tech, and that's going to be pretty interesting to hear and see and check out. And it's nice that they give it to you. They give it to you straight out in the box. They give you that brick. They give you that ultimate charging. Now, of course, with wireless charging, you got to buy a wireless charger. And I would imagine they'll sell one, independent. That would be nice, because you're not going to find too many chargers that charge that high in wattage for wireless charging. You'll find like a 15 to an 18 watt wireless charger. I think Samsung has one of those, matter of fact. But you're not going to find 30 watt, 40 watt wireless charging. That's going to be pretty interesting. Google's donating $6.5 million to help with Ronnie V. And let's see here. Oh, back to OnePlus. They picked up an A+ on the DisplayMate for their display rating. So that's good to hear that they're going to have a very, very solid piece of display tech that will compete against Samsung and LG so far this year. That's going to be pretty interesting to look out for. I know I've been seeing a lot of interesting back and forth about the new iPhone, like SE2 or some cheap iPhone that's supposed to be coming out, and how like AppleCare is expensive on that. I know it's like a quick switch up from what I was just talking about, but what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think we're going to get that here very soon? Do you think that it makes sense to be paying that kind of insurance money for a phone that cheap? I guess we have to wait to see what kind of display it is and whatnot to see if it's even worth that kind of AppleCare. Apple's going to be in a tough one this year, because they're still in that big hardware phase. Even though they're trying to transition into like software or services, they still heavily depend on sales, hardware sales. So it's going to be interesting this year how impacted they're going to be. Overall, the whole global smartphone market has taken a huge dip this year in terms of shipments and sales. So, phones are getting more expensive. That's a big reason why people are not buying phones the way they were. But then on top of that, with this year and towards the end of last year, with the pandemic, now epidemic, and Ronnie V, people aren't buying anything, let alone an expensive smartphone. So that's the other thing you got to look at as well. So that's pretty interesting. The Sprint and T-Mobile merger has been completed this week, and John Ledger is stepping out a month early. Man, I like John Ledger, man. That's why I was sticking with T-Mobile. John Ledger was a cool dude. Real cool dude, man. Wipe out the crocodile tears. John Ledger was a cool dude. Like, he came through, shook up the telecoms industry, got T-Mobile in the third place. I think they're second, but of course AT&T has a lot of spectrum, so that kind of forces them third place. But they're going to be swinging hard at AT&T now that they have Sprint's spectrum, and they're going to combine them and boost up that 5G network and boost up like T-Mobile's those spotty areas that Sprint may actually cover. And this is good news for Sprint, because now Sprint will have coverage, or Sprint consumers will have coverage, since they'll convert or converge into T-Mobile anyway. But they say it could basically take about 3 to 6 years to combine all that spectrum and the network together to be one. So that's also interesting to look forward to. They say prices will stay the same for the next 3 years or so. So that's good news. I don't think prices will substantially increase even when that's over. They might slightly increase, or they might decrease for like a year or two before they kind of go back up, I think. Mike Sievert is the new CEO of T-Mobile. So that's going to be interesting to see if he has some uncarrier-like moves. If he's aggressive like John Ledger, I mean, he seemed like he was groomed under John Ledger. So that's good news, I would say. That really helps us to see if T-Mobile is going to be put on a spot like that. The new T-Mobile, as I should say. All right. Oh, so yeah, this is what I was talking about. Smartphone market is expected to slow by 13% this year, with Q2 to be expected to be down by a whole 29% alone. Sales are down 3% from last year. Experts expect demand to rise by 12% next year. Ronnie V and higher phone prices are the reasons why we see all these dips. And that's more than enough. I mean, phones costing on average, $800 to $1,000. Flagships or popular phones costing $1,000, say for the V60. But I don't know if the V series is as popular as we may want it to be. I do like the fact that they so far have not released the G phone. They came out with the V series, and I would like for their V series to actually be their new flagship, and for them to really either be done with the G series or convert their G series to a mid-range line. I think that would work out better for LG. But phones cost a lot of money now, and whether or not it's justifiable or it makes sense for a phone to cost that much, it still doesn't mean that you should go buy it or you have to buy it, even if the phone is worth that kind of money. As I was saying in my, or you will hear, but shortly after this video about in my official review for the Galaxy S20, it's worth $1,000, but it doesn't mean you have to go spend $1,000 to go get it. So that's a big deal. And then basically ever since March, officially this year, people getting laid off or getting reduced hours, myself included. You don't have the funds or the paychecks or the monies to go and, splurge on a smartphone or accessories and stuff like that. So that also hurts the market as a whole. And that's why they're trying to give us some money to put back into the market. But when you think about how much they're giving everybody, that's not enough to actually put back into the market. That's barely enough, if it's even enough, just to keep a roof over your head or to keep food in your stomach. You know what I'm saying? So it's a nice it's a nice gesture, but it's nowhere near enough to actually put back into the economy. It's just enough to keep you, or barely enough to keep you afloat in your home, keep your home over your head, keep your insurance or your car payments or whatever. Like, that's one thing I also like to advise. Make sure you guys communicate to whoever you owe money to. If it's loans, call them, ask them, is there anything you guys are doing for the Ronnie V? Because, I'm out of a job or I can't go back to work for a certain amount of time. They're working with you. Nationwide, as an example, is putting a 60-day hold on insurance. Now, you'll owe all that up front when it's time to pay again, but at least for 60 days, they're not going to sweat you or cancel your insurance. So definitely call your car insurance, call your phone people. They're like they're giving you extensions. T-Mobile, as an example, is giving you like almost an additional month extension on your current, bill or whatever. Again, it's due then, but, at least they're giving you time to pay it. My credit union that I deal with for my car loans, they, helped me reroute my term, my current payments to the end of my term. So that way I can breathe easy until I get back into work. So, but it's with communication. You got to pick up the phone, call them. Don't disappear. Don't ghost, as they say. Pick up the phone, call whoever you need to, and they will most definitely try to work something out with you. So that way everything kind of goes by smoothly for them and for you during this period of time. So that's some advice from your boy Vrsatile about handling expenses during this time. You can focus on food and shelter. You probably can even get in touch with your landlords or whoever you pay a mortgage to, and try to work out a payment in the meantime until things kind of get back to normal. So definitely do that during this time, so that way we all can stay safe and with less stress. What's next to talk about? So far, next gen is still on schedule. The Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 is still coming out holiday 2020. Now, if they can get a foothold on this epidemic, I can see that still taking place. But if this runs into the fall, like if this blows past summer and it creeps on the fall, we might actually inevitably see next gen push back until like the beginning of next year, if not springtime next year. But if they can get a foothold on it by the end of summertime, I think that they'll still be on pace or schedule to push out next gen at the end of this year. But you got to have manpower in the building to work on stuff like that. You got to have manpower to work on these games, squash bugs, refine games. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very tough. Very, very tough for everybody right now, no matter what industry you're in. That's pretty crazy. What is still taking place? Gamescom is still taking place, at least digitally, at the end of August. PAX West, which takes place near San Francisco area, I think, might still be going on, but since they're like one of the big areas that got shut down due to Ronnie V, it's almost highly unlikely to see that take place. But that could still be going on. Gamescom said they still trying to hold this digitally. Bethesda has canceled everything, whether it's digital or physical, which also includes QuakeCon. And then that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys right now. I don't know. I still got a little lingering cough. It's pretty interesting this year, just seeing how things are rolling out, and it's like, man, can we renege on 2020, please? Like, this is pretty interesting how just everything's going, and like for me, if as long as unemployment, all that kind of stuff kicks in, like I'm not gonna be mad because I'm at home. I'm able to enjoy more time with the wifey. We're able to relax, still have a little bit of fun in home, and it's not a big deal. But when you can't get your hands on the means to like take care of in home, and it makes in home not fun, So I definitely put out there to you guys, who are having to deal with this. I hope you guys can stay strong, can be able to support your families. Shout out to Grave, X Reviews, or Ryan. Shout out to him. He actually has Ronnie V, and let's just try to give him some support. I met him on Twitter. He's a cool guy, and definitely, if you guys can reach out to him, do so. Shout out to Jazz Culture Tech and Tectonic and Wallace, who have been frequent commenters and who actually show their support on the channel. So shout out to you guys. Jay Wills came through here a couple times. Shout out to him. Shout out to just a lot of people. I know not everybody's. Craig, I think his name Craig Stewart. Shout out to you, who's also been a supporter through comments and likes and stuff like that. So shout out to you guys for supporting me through all this. I've been uploading every day so far, finding stuff to talk about, upload, and hopefully I can do this up until I reach 2,000 subscribers. I know I'm about like 12 subscribers away. I know there's subscribers. I just call you guys supporters. I call you guys like our little Vrsatile family. So once I reach 2,000, I probably will finally take a break, take like a week off or so, unless I really have something I want to share. Podcast will still come out, but I might take like a week off just to relax, brainstorm new ideas, and then come back with some fire. Like I said, I will try to at least upload 2 times a week, which is Monday and Saturday, and I'll try to include an upload in between. So like 3 days a week, maybe like a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. I'm gonna try to do that after this. So whenever this stops, then I'll take my little break, and then I'll try to maintain like a Monday, Wednesday, Saturday schedule. That's what I'm gonna try to do. Or at 3 days a week. If it's not Wednesday, it'll probably be Tuesday or Friday, but most likely it's probably gonna be Monday for sure, and Saturday for sure. I just don't know what the in-between day will be, but that's what I will be striving for you guys. And we'll be pushing on to the next 1,000. Of course, by the end of the year, I would hope I have put in enough hard work to have earned and gained the support of 5,000 subscribers and Vrsatile family members. So we'll definitely see. We still got plenty of time, and with people spending a lot of time online, reading Twitter, looking at Instagram, watching YouTube, if I can keep circulating content, maybe I can come across those eyeballs and people will enjoy your boy Vrsatile. But that's it for episode 12. Hopefully you guys appreciate and enjoyed it. Again, the comment section is always free for discussion. Let me know you guys' thoughts on some of the stuff I've shared. I'll be looking forward to the comment section all the time. But again, if you haven't already, ignite that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that notification bell so that way you guys stay informed when I drop videos, and stay subscribed. If not, subscribe to the audio podcast. That way I know you guys at least listen. If you guys aren't watching, that'll be big support here as well. But your boy Vrsatile signing out. And until the next video, we're officially closed.